Okay, today we'll be culling some of our Platinum King balloon mollies. Now, I already started culling this tank. I already separated the fish that I will be keeping as well as from that tank. I already started and I thought it would make a good video to show you that what culling really entails or kung paano talaga mag-cull ng isda, especially the PKBM, because ang dami dyan nga nasa internet. There seems to be a lot of misunderstanding kung paano mag-culling, and culling is a lot of things, but it is not destroying the fish. Well, it can be also using the culled fish as feeder, but you don't necessarily need to destroy the fish. I do not see any point in that. Usually I give some of the fish. Let's continue setting this up and so we can start culling our Platinum King balloon mollies, and you'd be amazed that a lot of these fish, we will be culling this tank by the way, with a lot of fish here, only a few will make it, will actually be what I considered up to standard. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, I decided to do a voiceover to get the audio more clearer. Now, we need to understand something, that the Platinum King balloon molly is in fact a strain or a derivative from the common molly, the Pusilla schnenops. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please write it down in the comments. Anyway, through years of selective breeding, no, when we breed a fish and we find some other qualities from some of the fry that are really desirable, we separate this fry, grow them out, and breed them again, and to produce the qualities that we like, that we see, that we find desirable. And over the years, over and over again, until we have reached a point where we already have the black balloon molly, we have the 24K, we have albinos, and we also have the Platinum King balloon molly. Now, all of these are just from the Pusilla molly or the native molly, and we need to maintain the strain. So that is why we need to do culling. We need to separate the fry or the fish that are born without the desirable qualities that we want. So because if we continue to breed them, we allow them to breed, it will ruin your line. Remember, one undesirable fish that breeds with your female that is what really desirable will in fact lay more sperm into the female, and so several more birds or drops will contain the sperm of the undesirable male. So early on, you really need to keep an eye out for these undesirable fish and separate them. Also, there is a thing called line maintenance. So culling is really a subjective thing, because I will cull for certain qualities that I find desirable, and another fish breeder or fish keeper out there will also have his own criteria. So that is what separates my line from their line. So that's when you can say, oh, this fish is definitely from Tonton, because he is always on the lookout for big dorsals, or for short caudal base, or for really big pot bellies, and so on with other fish keepers. So that is called line maintenance, when you are constantly on the lookout for and separating the undesirable fish that may be born and might potentially inseminate your females. Now, you also need to remember, aside from line maintenance, we also need to be constantly outcrossing our fish. Meaning, if you are constantly inbreeding your fish, more and more of these culls will in fact appear. And this is because, Mother Nature simply finds a way, and it will find a way to revert back the PKBM to its natural form. So, if you are going to be crossing your PKBM with a sibling or a close related fish within your yard, then you will have more and more of these culls. So that is why, to truly maintain Platinum King balloon molly, fish keepers like me will always be on the lookout for the output of other fish keepers. If I see something there that I like, if I see your line has great dorsal qualities right now that I really want, I will also acquire fish from them and outcross that with mine. So that is simply some things that you need to be doing as a true balon molly keeper if you want to produce a quality line. Now, this is the most important part that I will want to say about breeding platinum king balon mollies, because there is some sort of a, I don't know how you call this, misinterpretation or misunderstanding out there that when you breed your fish, because I saw on TikTok a few days ago some guy who was already counting his eggs because he has bought a trio of platinum king balon mollies, and he was already trying to make kwenta in his head that if his fish drops 60 to 80 fry and he sells at 400 per pair, then he's going to make a lot of money. Well, I did not want to be the person to burst his bubble, actually, no. I did not want to be the to cast the dark cloud. But I'm sorry to say that the true nature of Platinum King Balon Molly, no, and this is real talk, is that you will be lucky if you have 10% of that drop as perfect fish. Now, if you have 60 fish, you'll be lucky to have 6 potentially show quality fish. That is if you are really true to your line maintenance. And the rest will always have other qualities that are not so perfect. A longer caudal base, maybe the coloration is slightly pale, not truly platinum, or the tail might not be perfect. So you will be lucky if you have 10%. So if you have 80 fish, you will be lucky if you have 8 fish, 8 to 10 fish maybe that are, you separate and you can potentially grow out to take to shows. But that is the hard reality, and obviously you cannot you cannot sell the lower quality fish at 400 a pair. That would be really ridiculous. And there are fish keepers out there saying mine is barats. But you look at the fish that they are posting, and I see fish with, it has a pot belly, but it has a longer caudal base. So that to me is already cull. If you go and look at the ones that are always winning on shows, look at the fish. Just look at their fish. A really, really big pot belly, a short to almost no caudal base and belly, derecho na tail, a very big dorsal. At to the fact, if you're going to be looking out for white eyes, blue eyes, so it's going to make that's even going to be more difficult, and lesser and lesser fish are going to come out perfect that way. So this is the reason why Platinum King Balon Molly is so expensive. Usually, when for a perfect pair or perfect trio, it is normal to see the price around 900 to 1,400 pesos. This is very normal. A lot of people will already say, "Oh, that's too expensive to pay for a molly fish. You can go to Manalili and they are selling Platinum King Balon Molly there for only 50 pesos." Yeah, you can do that. That is a con, but that is not the standard. That is not the perfect Platinum King Balon Molly. That's why it is cheap. And a lot of people do not understand this. And then you also have sellers who will always tell you, "Oh, you can groom this out. You just buy this type of fish food. You just feed Dapna, you just feed brine shrimp, and the fish will turn out perfect." No. If that fish already does not contain the genes for the qualities that are considered perfect, then that will never grow out to be the perfect balon molly, the perfect Platinum King balon molly. So it's one of those things where it's really difficult to explain, especially to beginners. When they see that the fish is selling this much, they think that they can go buy a pair and breed this out and get rich off of it. That is not going to happen. And the fact that you will always be on the lookout or buying fish from your fellow fish keepers to maintain your line, also you will be out crossing constantly to refresh the gene, to refresh or to expand the gene pool. I'm not sure if that's a proper way to say it. But yeah, since you will be buying more fish, more expensive fish, then you'll have a tendency to also have a lot of expenses. And going back to the sheer amount of fry that we have, one drop may be 80 to 60 fish. I would rather focus my resources on grooming the fish that I already see that has the potential to go out to be with the qualities that I want. So BBS is expensive. I culture my own fish food, but I would rather save a lot of the grindal worms to feed to my fish that I consider perfect. So for the lesser quality fish, what I usually do with this is that after I do this culling or this separating them, I usually post it on Facebook groups and then offer it to as pet quality for people who just want to keep the fish. At one time, somebody came to me, got some of my fish, and then the next day I saw this guy trying to sell it. I mean, that's just sick. Ngayo kag isda na ko din imong ibaligya ra day. Anyway, I'm more careful these days. Some of the fish I will in fact feed to my Oscars because I'm also trying to breed Oscars, and I need a lot of live food for them also. Some of the fry that I already consider to be cull, I feed to my panchaks. As I don't know if I show that in a video, but yeah, I feed that to my panchaks and other smaller fish that also need the live food. So yeah, because if you are going to keep all of these cullfish, house them in tanks, they are going to occupy a lot of space. And I would rather they go to somebody who will potentially, like me, several years ago, started with simple balloon mollies and over the years have grown out to be a total fish nerd. Then I would rather give this to them to potentially expand the number of people in the hobby. So you see, if it gets other people interested in the hobby, then why not? Why not share? Pass it around. If I continue to keep them here, it will just simply consume a lot of resources, fish food, everything, and fish tanks, and the tanks will also be so overpopulated, and the overall quality or the health of the fish will just suffer. So I would rather just spread this around. As you can see, from all of that fish, only these make the cut for me. And even from this, once they are all together, I can see that some of the undesirable fish have slipped my eye. And but I will get to that later in the next few days. I will continue to cull and continue to separate these other fish. And I hope that this has been insightful. Not everybody is going to understand. So, happy fish keeping. I hope this video has been insightful. Hit like and subscribe, follow. That would really, really help me grow my channel. And bye for now, and see you on the next video.